out here and join us. So. And come down to our place. Yeah, welcome. So I gotta tell you, you see that guy here? His name is Soichi Yokoi.
What?
Soichi Yokoi. He was a Japanese straggler. You know, when you liberators came, instead of surrendering, he and 9 of his other comrades actually went up this river and stayed there. So 28 years later, from 1944 to 1972, he was the only guy that survived. Two local guys who were checking their fish traps found him, brought him to this building for the first interrogation of who he was. They dug a hole as their home, 7 feet deep by 10 by 10 feet wide, lived off the land and lived off the farms. We have farms up here, so we were wondering why our watermelons were missing, and it wasn't the pigs, it was these guys, right? He was a tailor by trade, so after 28 years, his clothes would deteriorate. So he took the bark of the wild hibiscus and he weaved his clothes. So if you haven't visited our National Museum, all his stuff is there too, as part of the story of the war. So this piece of art depicts the Japanese landing of forces throughout the island. It was actually a landing out here in Talafofo Bay. And a storyboard which kind of shares life in the village, families getting coconuts and stuff, but it just again tells the story of life prior to the influence of the Europeans.
Those are what we call in our native language troncompago, described as trees of today. They're found prevalently most areas along the rivers. Also in one particular village, which is Tsalampago, road of today or road of these trees. These trees are very significant for the ancient Chamorro period because their barks, the skin of their barks are used for rope, twine. Very, very, very strong rope. Even the thinnest fiber there is hard for a human to snap.
Here is all it is. But they drink that stuff so much, that's what they put on their island flag. Kapa Kava Kava and the Kava Kava plant. They drink that stuff all the time. Friday, Saturday night. There he is, Havade.
Cosinya malofangita no mizo. Jangan sinya unu respeta, ikosa si manyanata, igimalati, iatulati, ilusong zan ikosa siha, malaholom. Same texture as bread, kind of mushy when it gets too ripe. The Chamorros use it in a dish called golayapan. So basically they would pick it when it's a little bigger, shave off the outside, chop it up, add coconut milk, a little salt, and basically it was like our rice. Prior laundry with just one pot. In ancient times they would use this as kind of like fishing bait. They would just toss it in the river, the fish would nibble on it, paralyze the fish.
This tree is what is called the tronconunu, the banyan tree. And this is a very sacred tree, very respected tree for the Chamorros because it is known that our ancestors live in these roots. It has a lot of roots and it's very traditionally spiritual for our people. And,
Muchas gracias,
yeah, those are latte stones. pillars that were used for foundations for the A-frame homes in which the ancient Chamorros lived in, most particularly the chiefs. But the thing about it is that they're always faced out to sea because the canoes are going out to the ocean. They're found all along the oceans, all the beach sides and rivers. The theory of this is the capstone on top and the pillar is that they're not cemented on there. They're notched in there. In times of earthquakes, they just shift and they would adjust the home like that because we have a lot of earthquakes.
Long, nice stroke. There we go. And we have fire.
On behalf of Valley of the Latte, she wove that just now. For the Liberator, the Grand Liberator. That's right. Put it on.
Hey, that's pretty.
Okay.
Very sound.
Yeah.
I thank you.
You're welcome, Terry. You're welcome.
Okay. So spondylus. Spondylus was worn back in the olden days. The earliest or the latest recording that they could find was in Ipao when they're doing an excavation. Donned the name, the Princess of Ipao. Around her neck was spondylus in different shapes and sizes. As you can see, I have spondylus all over. I like the color orange. So this piece actually is called Guinahan Famagun. So basically, it was given to someone who had saved the life of a child. As you can see, it starts off from tiny beads, and then it gets bigger, and then it goes back into.
This is very authentic on our island. This is our jewelry. The women were the matrilineal society, but they wore these when they found them in archaeological findings. So today we're on the revitalization of our language and culture. Many of our people are wearing this, and these are from the spondylus shell that wash up ashore, and they're tumbled in the ocean by the waves, and they form into beads. And then the ancient Chamorros would drill holes and use this as prized ornamentals for jewelry. But the native Chamorros have been here for 4,000 years.
And like Michael, I'm gonna go for a ride.
That's right. There you go.
That's where my rope ties off. That's not a no poo-poo handle.
There you go. Yeah, here at the end of the Valley of the Latte site here, this used to be a freshwater pond where they raise tilapia, shrimp, and freshwater eel. There are several ponds here. We're in the village of Talafofo.
I ate part of one of them one time. We were coming in on the landing party, and he was in the field, and bombs were dropping and bound. Weren't bombs, mortars were dropping around, and the poor little old thing just sat there and did nothing on it. I thought we were crazy making all that noise, I guess. And they went back to eating again. That night and the next morning, the guy says, you know, we don't have anything for supper. So we were going to stay there that night and bivouac before the next morning because we expected a bonsai attack at that time. We were hungry. We ate what we got. And old Buster, he fed us.